Unlike 5 decades ago, they float through radiant skies. Their parachutes are quite different now. They don't disguise who they are for fear of troops below. And those watching their every move are armed only with cameras. As they walk off the drop zone, they're met with applause and flash smiles and waves.
I was scared to death 50 years ago. And today? I was only half scared.
The wind was high. It goes off course. See? Threw me in the water, in the mud.
I was thinking, well, first when I looked down, I saw the railroad tracks, and I was thinking, well, maybe I'm going to hit the railroad tracks. And that occupied my thoughts until I realized I was going to be short of the railroad tracks, and then I felt okay.
They have the reenactment down to the note. They've proven their skeptics wrong. They are not too old to recreate their airborne history. But one of them gave the crowd quite a scare. When this tangled parachute started plunging to the ground, it appeared there was someone inside struggling to get it open. As it turned out, the paratrooper had cut the tangled chute and was landing instead on his reserve. Earl Draper, a 70-year-old former 82nd paratrooper, was airlifted for a back injury after his all-too-memorable jump. Not far behind the veterans, today's Guard of Honor. Troops from the 82nd Airborne and the 101st filled the blue Normandy sky with a stunning silk armada. This new generation of troopers marched on to St. Mariglis as their counterparts did so long ago. And perhaps 50 years from now, they too will be telling the story of that memorable jump into France. And in just a few hours from now, the first commemoration of the 50th anniversary of D-Day will begin, a sunrise service off the coast on the USS George Washington. In Normandy, France, I'm Monica Schumann for ABC News.
Normandy is not the only place where veterans are celebrating D-Day. Many Americans remember the war here at home. The tombstones are evidence of how deadly the war was. Today, a remembrance was held at Arlington National Cemetery for the men who were killed 50 years ago. In Texas, it was a solemn day as well. Soldiers outside of Houston marched to the long-ago beat of war. One veteran there says he remembers how terrifying the beach landing really was.
It just sort of numbs your mind to anything, I think, in any way. Maybe it affects other people differently. But the confusion on the beach added to, I suppose, the terrorism.
50 years ago, Lieutenant Jonathan Clark was just 23 years old. As a glider pilot, his mission was to land 3 miles inland from the shores of Normandy to help unload medical equipment. The enemy and their weapons were everywhere.
I guess I was too young to be scared. I was not scared, really. But the first thing you got to do is duck and hit the ground if you're under fire.
These black and white photos tell the story of a young soldier weary from war. 50 years ago, they did not know their efforts on that particular day would forever change the course of history. It was a long time ago, and time goes on. But on this upcoming anniversary of a battle half a century ago, Lieutenant Colonel Clark says it's time to remember.
I think it's wonderful. Now, in itself, as a celebration, it is not that important, but I think what is important is to let these young people that were born after this happened to know what went before them.
Well, many African American and Latino soldiers also played important roles in the invasion of Normandy. Times were different then. The military was segregated, and history books ignored their efforts. One soldier from Dallas remembers his Normandy experience.
The water was just full of these landing craft, and their wakes were behind them, and I said, look here, what's going on down there? And it was really something to see. All these ships were landing on the coast of southern France, all the infantrymen.
A lot of memories on this important anniversary. ABC News is in Normandy for special coverage of the anniversary tomorrow. We will carry it live here on Channel 13. It all begins at 7 o'clock in the morning with a 5-hour broadcast of Good Morning America. Then we'll share those memories and reactions of local veterans at noon, 5, 6, and 11 right here on News Source 13.